My name is Reed. I've been asked to talk to you about our club field. It's actually a city park, I guess is what it really is, but it's been a club field for since the mid-70s. It's a great facility for RC pilots to come and fly their airplanes and not have to worry about hitting a house or hitting people, because we adopt the AMA safety rules, and the AMA is a national organization, Academy of Model Aeronautics. I think that's the right acronym for it. And so we want to kind of show you a little bit of where the pits are, where we start the motors and the engines, and we'll just kind of walk you through what goes on out here. So when you get a new person that comes, you're a little bit familiar with how it works. Let me preface all this with the city, which is Saratoga Springs. They do require you be a member of the AMA. And like I say, that's a national organization, and you just Google the Academy of Model Aeronautics, and there's a place where you can become a member of that. What that membership gives you is a $1 million umbrella of insurance against accidents. Like I say, the city requires us to have that to be able to use this facility because of the liability. If there was an accident out here at the field, since it is considered a city park, the city would be drug into this situation, and so that's why the city requires it to be a member of the AMA. You don't have to be a member of the club to use this facility, but in order to use the gate, to get through the gate with the car, you need to become a club member. And we can talk about that in another video. But club membership is, your dues goes to keeping the runway surface smooth and sealed as best we can. Takes a lot of money to do that, but let's go ahead and walk down through the pits. You know, we're here at the pits area. These tables are down through the center of the awning that we have to be able to set your planes up on them, get them all ready to fly. And when you get them ready to fly, you put them down out here in the pit area, out from underneath the awning, and hold on to them until you get them out here to the yellow line, and then you can set them down there, or you can hold on to the plane. If you got a bigger plane, you can hold on to the tail and get them out on the other side of that line, and then you can taxi it out. The reason that we don't like you to be taxiing in the pits is a complete safety situation. We see it all the time where people set up their planes on these tables and inadvertently somehow hit the throttle, and that thing takes off and cuts their fingers or runs into their belly, and them props are sharp. They cut you. And so if you're on the ground, we want you to be in control of your plane until you get it out here on the taxiway, and then you can go ahead and taxi it out to the runway. We're going to walk down here and look at the club board. The top part of this board is for people that fly with 7,200 megahertz airplanes or the transmitters. There's not very many of them around. There are a few, and so we're not going to talk a lot about that. But we do want you to be aware of there. Of course, you can see the biggest sign there. It says, "Help us keep our club safe. Please do not taxi in the pits." And we've already talked about that. To the right of that, they have the Academy of Model Aeronautics safety rules, and that they are really abbreviated, but that's what we fly by. And then over here we have our airfield general rules, and it talks about the AMA membership, having that, I think it's number 2 there, the city requires that. And we also have operational rules. And real quick, on the operational rules, we have a maximum of 4 planes in the air at a time. There won't be any deliberate flying behind the pilot station or east of the runway. We can talk about that in a little bit too. Once you get your plane started and you come up this taxiway to this white line, you have to be aware of other pilots that are out here flying, because you don't want to go out onto the runway if you've got somebody coming in on a landing. So somehow you need to communicate to the other pilots that you're coming out onto the runway, and if you'll come right out, keep your plane on the east side of the runway and come, just make a U-turn and come over here in this little area right here. And then you can communicate with the pilots a little easier. The pilots are supposed to be over here behind this white fence, and the white fence is there to keep the pilots safe, so that if somebody comes in for a landing and they lose control of it and it makes a hard left turn or a hard right turn, it won't hit you in the legs. So that's what that fence is there for. Once you have your plane here, you can communicate to the other pilots. Is it okay to go up? And they're either going to say, yeah, it's okay, or no, I'm going to land. And so you'd have to wait for the individual to land. And then you say, is it okay to go up again? And then as soon as you get the okay, then you can put your plane out in the center of the runway and take off, whatever direction the breeze happen to be going. So that's kind of the flight line and the pilot stations and how that works. All right, one more quick thing about the flight line. As you come out here and you announce that you're coming out onto the field, you're going to come right around here and line up. But do not line up out here on this white line. That's too close to the runway. We've had a lot of people's planes damaged and hurt shins from planes when they come in. Sometimes they don't always land straight, and they curve over here into this area where you're standing. So the best place to stand is actually back this direction, so that it gives those pilots that are landing on the runway a little more room, and you're not going to get your plane damaged by a loose plane that lands like this, and they do sometimes. But this is a safer place to be, back this direction. You can communicate with the pilot and say, is it okay to go out? And as soon as you get the okay, you can go out. And sometimes the wind is shifting, and so you can say, I'm going to take off left to right, or I'm going to take off right to left, whichever way the prevalent wind is going. And the pilots there should know that, and they would know that, but it's always good to communicate your intentions. And while we're on that subject, when you're in the air and you've got other pilots out here, you need to let them know, I'm going to be landing, or I'm landing left to right, or I'm landing right to left, so that others can plan their landings too. Yeah, we're back again just to talk to you about 2 or 3 more little areas of the club field here. To my left, we've got these bleachers. They are owned by the club. They're not city property, but this is for spectators to come and watch us fly. And usually we have an annual fun fly. I can't remember what we call it. An open house, right, for people to come and watch and help promote our hobby. It's a lot of fun. We have a lot of people, and so spectators are here. We kind of want to keep our spectators away from the planes and the pits area for safety concerns. Now, right behind the bleachers here, we've got kind of a circle set up. And back in the old days, and they still do it, they fly control line planes, which, if you can see the little concrete pad out here in the center, that's where the pilot stands, and the plane takes off around this circular runway we have, and they fly in circles, and that's why they call them control lines, because they're held on with lines out to the plane, and you give it up and it climbs, you give it down and it lands. So they can do stunts if you're good, but that's where they fly control line planes. And then over here you'll see a path, a blacktop path. On the other side of that fence, there's a place for helicopters. So if helicopters is something that you like to fly, that's where they fly the helicopters. And that's another reason, in addition to flying over the pits area. All of our flying we want to take and keep west of the runway, so there's no accidents going on back this direction.